So take me through your OPGG. What are we looking at here? What are we looking at here, Sammy?
Um, well, I main Twisted Fate and I play Oriana some games. But if I have the chance to pick Twisted Fate, I'll pick Twisted Fate.
And you were telling me
Um,
before, so to give context to the guys on YouTube, we went over this OPGG a little bit before, but I wasn't recording. But just to kind of fast track it here, guys, Sammy here is a Platinum 2. He's been Platinum 1. He's been Platinum now for the past 3 seasons. You originally, am I right in saying this, Sammy? You were more of like an assassin player. You played a lot of Yasuo, a bit of
yeah,
Zed, that sort of thing. And then recently in season 9, between season 9 and this season, you've started to pick up Twist of Fate and kind of change your style because it wasn't really working. So you decided to play more Twist of Fate and be more macro oriented. Am I right in saying that?
yes, yes.
Right. And right now you've been playing. You've got like basically 900 games played this season, and you're stuck at around mid to high plat. You've been around mid to high plat this entire season,
Yeah.
right? And so today we're actually going to be looking at one of your Twisted Fate VODs. Now, I was actually talking to Sammy before, and do you just want to share with everyone what you thought some of the potential um, problems are, or some of the things that your theory about why you're stuck? Um,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. I think I'm stuck because I'm not consistent enough in my intensity. Like some games I'd play, 60% intensity. Some games I play 80% intensity, and some games like I play 110% intensity. And I think the games where I'm not focused as much, I start going on lose streaks and I start losing rank, and I kind of like lose all the progress the 110% intensity games gave me. Um, yeah, I think that's a theory why I'm hard stuck.
And well, out of the things that you're focusing on, what are the things that you're focusing on out of interest, like in-game stuff? What do you think? What are
In
some of
game
the things
stuff.
that you're trying to focus on? What or do
Um,
you not have something that at the moment that you're trying to improve on?
I think a while back I was so focused on jungle track. Like after your jungle tracking video, I was
Mm,
so focused on jungle tracking for like 2 weeks. And I would only think about the jungler, enemy jungler and my jungle. And then after a while I just stopped thinking about it.
right. It's
Just
kind of just
I
lost it.
think
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it would just become muscle memory, but like it didn't, and like I kind of just like forgot all about awareness of
Right.
like junglers.
Okay.
But for junglers that are kind of meta, like I just get used to it. And those are the junglers that I do remember pathing for and all that.
Right. So out of this session, you were saying how one of your goals you ideally want to be diamond or high diamond. You want to kind of get to the higher levels of play, and because you find that's just going to be a much more enjoyable experience for you, right?
Y-
Like playing in
Yeah.
high elo is very fun. It definitely is. And I mean, I want to help you big time, man. You've been stuck in platinum for this is a ridiculous amount of games. Like, let's hopefully, we can really point out some stuff and tie it all together. And especially since you're a Twisted Fate player, I know a lot about Twisted Fate, so it'll be interesting to kind of dive straight in and see what some of these problems are. So today we're going to be going over a Twisted Fate versus Cassiopeia VOD. Do you want to just start off by sharing what we actually spoke about a little bit this before off camera, but just sharing again quickly what your thoughts were on this matchup and when heading into a game versus Cassio with Conqueror, like how are you thinking about the way you want to approach this lane?
Um. In general, I just fear Cassiopeia assisted Fate. I always play defensive. Um. I don't know where that stems from, but I'm just like I those champions that just run you down. I just fear. Um. I take notice of my top in ADC, trying to like figure out what sides I can actually uh, carry from, or which sides I pick,
Mm,
to help the team win the game. And I can't really help top. Like Malphite doesn't have like that carry potential, and Ezreal is kind of
mm,
like one of those weak laners. But Jhin and Bard are like kind of easy to gank, so
mm,
like I thought I could maybe influence that side much more. Um, but in terms of the Cassiopeia matchup, yeah, I just play defensive. And I do run resolve, so I do think I can trade a little bit more.
mm.
Uh, but I don't have electrocute, so I can't really out
Yeah.
trade.
One thing that's actually interesting to note here is that this Malphite actually went Comet. So this actually means that Malphite could be taking decent trades top, and the fact that
Hmm.
Quinn doesn't have TP and has Ignite, which means I actually think this is a bit of a snowballing matchup, especially at 6. If Malphite gets 6 and gets a kill, I actually think this can be quite a snowballing matchup. But I do believe you are correct in saying that Jin is quite vulnerable. Bard can be a little bit annoying post 6 because of the ultimate and the portals and stuff like that. But I think this is a game that you actually have a lot of options, to be honest.
Hmm.
Cassio is quite immobile despite the cleanse. Kane can be a little annoying post 6, but, it's not the end of the world. And then Quinn, more importantly, is quite vulnerable. Jin's quite vulnerable. And Bard's, not too bad. So, heading into this game, we'll fast forward. This will be a really interesting one because um, I think that you've actually got a decent composition for TF. And the reason I'm saying that is because you are pretty much one of the only forms of hard CC. Like, Senna also does have hard CC, but I love champions like Wukong with TF because they're all damage and you're all CC. So, I just love seeing those sorts of things. So, 2v2, I actually think your 2v2 is quite good, to be honest with you, especially in the early portion of the game. Like, until Cassio gets, like, Seraphs or at least Lost Chapter and Blue Buff, you're going to be completely fine. But by then, you're going to be so tanky anyway. It's not going to be a big deal. Now, yeah, I just want you to kind of step me through this early laning phase, what you were thinking, and yeah, and we'll kind of go back over it. So,
So right now I'm just matching. Uh, don't want to push too far. I mean, I think in retrospect, I think I should have pushed. I should have used my level 1 advantage. Like she doesn't have the she doesn't have the QE kind of trades yet,
yeah,
and I think I can actually push. See, I didn't know she started E. I thought Cassio started Q, so I could take that trade, but I was wrong.
yeah, right, okay. Most Cassios will start E, especially if they go Conqueror,
Okay.
purely because that between E autos, they can actually take some okay trades. Not too bad. Like how you're trading back. I mean, these sorts of heavy trades, in my opinion, actually kind of suit you. Because if you think
Yeah.
about it, Cassio goes very, very quickly. Like, I actually think this is a... Like, we were talking about this before, but Sammy here was saying how he kind of fears Cassio. But the way I view this Cassio matchup is that Cassio, especially if they take Conqueror, they're not going to have enough mana in the early portion of the laning phase to reliably kill you. I mean, especially with Cleanse. And one of the biggest things I was talking before about this matchup is that when you're versing any immobile mage and they have to take cleanse, you have such a big advantage with TP. TP, when I'm heading into these games, that's the first thing I'm thinking. The first thing I'm thinking is, okay, I've assessed the side lanes. I've already assessed which one ideally I want to be threatening at level 6. But in terms of the 1v1, I'm going to have TP advantage. So, and I know that Cassio most likely is going to go she's not going to have enough kill threat because she doesn't have Ignite either. So I can easily kind of cruise through this early game. I can get myself a decent reset. If Cassio heavy trades with me, I'm happy to heavy trade as well. I've got Time Warp Tonic. I've got Corrupting Pots. I can come back with 350 gold. I can come back with a Dark Seal. I'm going to be much better off compared to Cassio because Cassio started D-Ring. For a champion that starts D-Ring, and if they go back with around 350 gold, there's really not much they can buy. Maybe they can only buy a refillable, but that doesn't give them any combat stats. And they've already down in gold efficiency because they've already used both their pots. But if you start corrupting pot, these early heavy trades actually suit you. Now, one thing I want to quickly talk about before we go further in this VOD, Sammy, is that, yes, in a perfect world, like, yes, in some of these lanes, you want to kind of stall it out to like 1100 gold to get Catalyst. But, because you're platinum, you're diamond, playing in plat diamond games, the pace of the game is going to be a little bit faster and you're going to have to adapt. If people are going to take these heavy trades, you should be completely fine with it. Because again, TF can adapt. You can always go back for an early Dark Seal. It's not the end of the world. And especially when you have TP advantage. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Just let me know if you want me to kind of if you have any questions about anything I say, or you want me to re-go over something, or you're not really unsure about why I'm saying something.
I got you.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. And the main reason I'm saying this in terms of it's being okay for you to go back on a Dark Seal is, like I said, like if Cassio pushes the pace of the game, it's gonna be hard for her to get her tier. She needs tier. Ideally, she wants to stay in base in lane for 800 gold. Was it 850 or 800?
850,
Yeah, 850
I
gold
think.
for
Yeah.
her tier. So you actually benefit over that big time. This is why I'm a big criticizer of this whole Casio aggressive level 2, level 3. Because if the TF does
Okay.
this, like look at this. She's now She has barely any gold. She has no TP, and you've got the wave on your side.
Yeah.
So this is a really good situation for you, I think. Anyway, so what are you thinking right now? Talk me through this.
Um, in terms of what you're saying, like I'm trying to map kind of like resource management with the TP advantage,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to like um kind of make it a pattern. Like what other matchups require require you to know like okay, yeah, he's not gonna take TP.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna have the resource advantage. Like,
How do you know
how do you
that?
kind of yeah, how do you know that?
Um. Well, if you think about okay, okay, I don't know if they're gonna take cleanse or TP any game. And like I said, there's so many ways to play League of Legends. If you think about it, if you did you watch my Syndra video out of interest?
Yeah.
Well, you know how I talk about one specific style in that game? Well, I go
Ye-
Phase Rush, Gathering Storm, very scale heavy. Well,
Yeah.
conversely, I could easily go Electrocute with Ignite, Time Orb, Tonic, Biscuits, and play super aggressive. Now, there's certain champions in the game a lot of champions in the game that can play very differing styles. Cassio is one of them where you can play the Conqueror, aggressive levels 2 and 3, that sort of thing. TF, you can play quite fast with Electrocuting Knights. There's so many different ways. Now, it does come with experience, and this is why I recommend playing the same champions or have a small champion pool, because you'll start to realize how certain matchups play out. But more importantly, in terms of understanding just mana costs, that should just be
Mhm.
like, okay, if you think about it, like most champions in the early game can't spam mana, but there are a few that can. Like Orianna can kind of spam Qs in a way, Syndra can spam Qs. What are some other champions? Zoe can actually kind of spam Q. But there's a lot of champions with high cooldowns. Sorry, with low cooldowns. Um, a lot of them they can't, and it really just comes down to feel. At the end of the day, it comes down to feel and just game sense. Like you can't. There's no just one formula. It really just comes down to game understanding. But in terms of learning that, you can kind of see it in your reviews as well. Like the main reason I actually found that out was because I played a bit of Cassio, but more importantly, when I versed Cassio, I always found that if they spammed QE level 2, they were always level 3, and then they were screwed.
Yeah.
That's just off my experience. Now,
Mhm.
like yeah, there's no real formula. It really just comes down to your experience in the matchup. To be honest with you, unfortunately.
Okay.
Um, But this kind of ties into testing limits, Sammy. Like, if you have a defensive mindset every single matchup and like you're scared to trade every single matchup, you're never going to find the trading pattern at the end of the day. Like
Yeah.
like this is also why I don't recommend like playing on your main account all the time. And when you're learning matchups and learning a champion, you just int. Like that's what I do. I literally play 30, 40 games with a champion and I int to really push the limits to find the trading patterns. What am I doing right? What feels good? What feels wrong? Now, the thing with Twist of Fate though, it can feel very comfortable all the time to just play very defensive, get to your 1100 gold because it's such a reliable strategy. But again, Sammy, you're looking to get into Diamond now, and you're in Platinum 1 game, so you got to start like experimenting a little bit more. I think.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I've never like limit tested. I always play like trying to learn based off like kind of what
hmm.
they do, not like what I do.
Yeah, you're like reactive in a way, and I can already see
Yeah.
that by the way you're pathing. Like, look at like your movements here. I'm already looking at your default response every single time Cassie walks up is I'm gonna walk back and try and dodge a Q, and like in
Yeah.
a very defensive way. Like you step back rather than walking forward as well. Now
Yeah.
this gets a little bit. Maybe I'm reading into this little too much, but this is just the start of the VOD. But I have noticed a trend with how dodging patterns actually tell a lot about a person's mentality. Now,
Mm.
I found this with myself as well. when I verse a player who I know, because like in high elo in my region, you've generally verse the same players all the time. If I know I'm not versing a pro player, my dodging patterns are literally more aggressive. I will be more likely to dodge forward rather than always dodge backwards. Sometimes I actually go in this defensive mindset when I know I'm versing a player I respect a lot, and I just path
Hmm.
backwards, and I'm just playing like a bitch essentially.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I can already tell this by the way already the way you've played. You're playing so defensively for no reason. Like I would have just walked up when she's walking up like that into my minion wave. I would just walk up to her and throw my gold card and trade back. And if she blows cleanse, she blows cleanse. You know, it's like cool. You have no cleanse. You've already blown cleanse at 2 minutes 30 in the game. You know, like, and I can base for Dark Seal and TP. To be honest, okay, I want you to step me through this whole thing. After Cassio actually escapes here, what were you thinking here?
Um, I was thinking that if I can just keep the lane right here, right? If she wants the back, then I can keep the wave there and reset as well. But knowing that she has basically no resources, I think um my goal was to kind of use the TP to keep her in lane.
Hmm.
I would TP back and just like force her under a turret.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of like my main strategy. If I'm versing Victor, Cassiopeia, anyone with like heavy mana costs.
Right. Now, in this situation, was there a reason? Because the way I see it here is like, I would put a massive emphasis on holding the wave and thinning the wave right now. Like, Hmm. What do you think about this? What do you think about this, Sammy? Like, trading flashes like this?
Trading
I'm,
flashes.
I mean,
Um,
it's good in the sense that, like, it's good gank setup for your jungler, and you could probably guarantee a kill. To be
I think
honest,
it's
like,
okay.
I think it's okay because you don't really know Kane's going to be here, right? Like, if Kane isn't here in the exact position, then you actually get the kill and get out, and it's like GG. So I actually don't mind this at all, to be honest. Like, I think the play is fine, and I think the thought process behind it's not too bad at all.
And
Now,
like since I like blow flash and cast blows flash, like
yeah.
I'm always gonna play the lane defensive, so I'm gonna be closer to my turret
Hmm.
anyways.
Now, what's the now? What should you be doing?
I should be looking at should I be kind of thinking like how side lanes are going?
Okay. So let's actually talk to me first. What you do consider when heading back to lane, and then we'll kind of talk about what else you could have considered here.
Okay. I usually consider my lane first, like what the wave is like.
Yep.
If my jungler's alive, what they're doing is probably the second thing I
Yep.
do. Um, and occasionally, yeah, I do look at like post six. I usually look at side lanes. Like that's kind of
Yep.
my go-to. I would look at side lane, see if a side lane's gankable, if it's even worth ganking. And if I have the jungler on my side, because if I have the jungler on my side, I usually find that ganks are a lot more successful.
All right. Well, that's all great information, but at the end of the day, let's simplify it much more. Let's be a little bit more greedy in a way.
Okay.
You just had a very intense trade with this guy,
Mhm.
and what do we see? Cassio, Cassio, flash and cleanse.
Yes.
Now that is unbelievably big. Like really, really, really big. If I'm in your position, I'm timing flash and cleanse.
Okay.
Like you gotta time flash and cleanse. Even if it's not for your team, even if it's just for you. Because if we think
Okay.
about it, like we said before, if he doesn't have cleanse, you have insane gank setup. If she doesn't have cleanse, you're way less threatened because she can't ever chase you down. If she doesn't have flash, she's gonna have to respect a lot more. You're gonna get a lot more a lot more room in the lane to push and move. It basically opens you up as a champion. This is why I don't like the way Cassio actually played this lane. Now, because if she takes it slow, doesn't holds on to her summoners, she can actually, once she does get to 6, she can actually play quite aggressively. But now she's not going to have that luxury. So right now, and the jungle flash as well. You should be timing Cassio flash, jungle flash, Cassio cleanse. Not for anyone else but you. Now,
Okay.
Now, it's actually a big misconception that Twisted Fate is all about the team. This is my favorite quote from one of my favorite pro players, Shen. He always says, "Protect yourself at all times." In solo queue, it's all about you. You gotta be selfish in the sense like what is best for you first, number one, and then you help your teammates. Because if you can't help yourself, you're actually going to be a burden to your team. Now, that's all I'm thinking about now. Great, I've got TP advantage. I can come back to lane. I'm going to get a big CS advantage or a big XP advantage over this Cassio. I can maybe even freeze it. She has no cleanse. She has no flash. I want to buy a pink ward to probably set up a gank as well. She's extremely vulnerable. You can't come in with a mindset and just thinking about already which side lane am I going to affect. You can kill mid. You know,
Hmm.
you can kill mid. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
makes
why
sense.
right now, because you know this is, you can already tell the way this Cassio is playing the lane as well. She's played extremely aggressive, right? She's got no summoners. This most likely is going to be a pretty heavy trading matchup. If that's the case, and you can tell the pace of the game is being quite fast, always go Darksteel over Ruby Crystal. I actually think the only time you go Ruby Crystal is if you can't trade at all and you literally just are just playing very defensively. I actually don't
Okay.
mind in any of these heavier trading matchups and just your read on the tendency of the enemy. Dark Seal, Pink Ward. First thing I'm thinking about, Dark Seal, Pink Ward, no sums mid, time them, boom, I want to set up a gank on mid. That's all I want to do. Or generate so much threat that she has to respect, and then I'm going to have a lot of river control. Either way. So the wave crashes is completely fine for you. You're actually going to have I think a bit of an XP advantage. But you see where I'm coming from? Like just the
Yeah.
mindset behind that.
I I I always think that Darkseal's for like snowbally type
Mm.
champion. I don't know. I run Darkseal on TF sometimes, but I never run Darkseal thinking that I can use it to, you know, to boost my resources after a trade. Like I started thinking about that like days ago, but like I never thought about it um before that. I always thought Darkseal was like for kind of like snowball champs. You want to get a kill, you want to stack,
Mm.
you want to start stacking your Darkseal.
Well, yeah, that's one element of it, but yeah, that probably actually is the case. This game, you don't buy Darkseal if like you know you're not going to be able to kill anyone. But like I said, Cassio has no sums,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you're in a favorable position. Cassio's an immobile mage. And either way, you're probably going to be getting kills level 6 this game. You have a lot of gank set up in both lanes. Malphite level 6, center with hard CC on bot lane. Like, I
Mhm.
think you have decent kill threat this game.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, but you are right. Generally, Dark Seals you want to be having it when you want a boost of power, immediate short term boost of power and resources in lane, or you want to look to snowball.
Okay.
Um, that's the case. So you come back. First thing you should do, Sammy, you gotta check their items. You gotta check their items. So you've come back like I know I'm talking a lot about pieces of information here, but I don't think these pieces of information are random. Because if you think of
Yeah.
it like this, I can sit here telling you, okay, this is like you playing TF. You got to think about this. You got to think about cooldowns. You got to think about jungle location. You got to think about this. You got to think about that. I'm not saying okay, you know when you learn something in school, how it's so hard to remember something because you just don't care, right? It doesn't mean anything. Like, remember this formula. Like, what the hell do I care? I don't want to. What is this going to help me in real life for? It's not going to help me with anything. I don't. There's no emotional connection. But the
Yeah.
thing with these pieces of information, Sammy, is it all ties into how can I get a lead? How can I get ahead? So if you think about, um, I kind of use this analogy where like um, let's just say if you win this game, or like even if you say if you win this game or you get a lead in this game, you win $1 million. You're gonna find every single little piece of information. You're gonna go overload. You're gonna go ham. You're gonna thinking like, oh, what are their items? How can I abuse that? Where do I need? Which side do I want to lean to? What are their summoners? Can I set up a gank? You're gonna go ham, right? You're gonna think of all
Hmm.
these things. So what I actually found with players is that it's not that you're unable to think about all these pieces of information. It's the fact that you're lazy and you're not putting an emphasis on trying to get yourself ahead. Now, I am getting a little bit into the mindset here because I really think it is important. The players that I've worked with at the pro level, a lot of the time that they got so good at the solo queue and how they got so high elo in the first place is because they were obsessed with finding every single possible way to get ahead in lane. So, if, for example, if their jungler took blue buff, they would get so angry because that's limiting their ability to get ahead in lane, right? They're finding every little way possible. So, just like you're playing in this game, your whole mindset it needs to be obsessed about finding a way to get a lead. That's why timing summoners makes sense, right? Because if you want to get stuff done, it's only common sense. If you want to figure out how to play the lane and how to abuse the enemy, you got to know what items they also get. You got to know this information. Otherwise, it's going to be so hard for you to optimize your behavior in game, right?
Yeah.
So right now, I don't know what Cassio has, so I don't even know what sort of trades I can take. And you're playing very defensive for no reason. Like I don't know I don't know what item she has, so we don't know what how to play the lane. Now, the first thing you need to do is come back into lane. You need to have a side to lean onto, right? You need a side to lean onto for two reasons. You need a side to lean onto so you can actually get out a pink ward and defend a pink ward to set up ganks for Cassio. Because she has no sums. And more importantly, if you don't have a side to lean to, you also have no flash, so you're extremely vulnerable as well. Beautiful. The wave's going to reset, so it's going to push back to you. You see Kane bot, right? Was that Kane bot? Yeah, that's Kane bot. So you've got to, you now know, again, you checked items just to make sure that they haven't based, but yeah, Kane hasn't based yet. You've got plenty of time. What was your intention here? Walk me through what was going on here.
Well, I was going to ward, right? But then I noticed Kane was bot, so I was like, well, what's the point of warding topside? Then I come back down, and then I realize Cassio wards the lane. So, like, I don't want to use my... I think I see her ward. Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, can I just pink this? What else did I do? This was a while ago.
So
yeah, my initial intention was to ward the left side, but then I saw Kane.
Right. So again, okay, a few things here. This is really big. So it's completely fine to ward topside here with a pink, just because you see the jungle. It's not bad, because Kane's gonna base and recall and go topside anyway, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't really. Okay, in terms of the side you want to lean to, all this means is what side do you want to control? Which side do you think you want to put your pink on so you can control and generate more roam threat? That's all it is. I actually think top, to be honest, is a lot of kill threat, especially as Malphite gets 6, because it looks like Malphite's actually doing well in the lane, to be honest. But if you want to go bot side, that's also completely fine. So it doesn't really matter which side you lean onto and where they are. If anything, it's a great time because no one's going to be there to get rid of it. So what do you think this gives you? Like I'm trying to understand why would you do this, because it just seems so low value to me in my mind.
I mean, whenever I see someone lane a ward, I always like think that I can't roam. So like I want to get rid of it so like I can kind of hide where I am. Because like I kind of know that laners kind of pay attention to where TF is. Or side laners kind of pay attention to where TF is. So like if they don't know where I am, then like I can give pressure to my other laners.
Okay, well, the way I see it is like you're not 6 anyway, and the ward's not even in a good spot. Like it's only gonna see to like here. You can easily just walk here and then they're not even gonna see you. But even if they did this, I'm thinking, well, the way it's actually pushing to me, even if I don't even have that knowledge, I'm not 6 anyway. I would rather generate kill threat onto this Cassio than seeing where I am. At the end of the day, this is not even going to last that long anyway. Big deal, you know, which side I lean to. It's not going to stop me from ulting the sides. And if anything, if it's just going to make the enemies actually more scared. Because what's actually going to happen is if they see me move onto a side to potentially ult, they're just going to back off, and it's going to allow my bot lane or my top lane to take better trades anyway. So I'm actually just not fussed. Like, this is just a waste of a pink, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Because the river control and the gank setup onto the Cassio, I value much higher. Because again, it ties back into that what I'm trying to bring about. Cassio no sums, right?
Hmm.
So use a pink here, and then you decide to kind of walk around a little bit. Looks like you kind of it looks like you're wasting a lot of time at the moment.
I mean, there's nothing to do. Like, I can't really step up in the lane.
You 100% can. Why are you scared?
I'm just so scared of Cass.
What's she gonna do to you? Her Q is so hard to hit anyway. It's her Q's unreliable to hit. She has no cleanse. You can literally just turn and stun her. She has no mana. Look at her items, Sammy. Up here.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like if she starts to heavy trade with you, you've got corrupting pot. The way it's going to be pushing to you, it's actually bad for her to start heavy trading in this portion because then the wave's going to be here. You're going to have a pink in the river, and then she's going to be completely screwed.
Yeah.
Like I just don't think you need to be scared here of Cassia. Like, I mean, yeah, you can wait for the wave to come in, but at the end of the day, like, she's got a Dark Seal and a Doran's with no pots. Like, what does that say to you? What does that say to you?
That she can't heavy trade,
Well, she
or
can't
she
heavy
can't
trade,
afford.
right?
Yeah, she can't afford a heavy trade when I have three corrupting.
Like, I feel like this is worst case scenario for a Cassia in terms of itemization, in my opinion. Like, this is, when I talk about
Yeah.
champion identity, when I talk about champion identity and I talk about, like, decisions that make your life easier in a game, this is
Hmm.
why I hate this conquer aggressive level 2, level 3 crap. Because she's not gonna have enough. She's gonna be in lane with no pots for ages. She's not even close to her tier. She now has no summoners. It's like she's in such a bad spot. She's delaying her lost chapter spike so hard, and she doesn't even win trades at the end of the day now. So yeah, she hasn't taken trades in my opinion, coherent with her identity. So you're pinging there, you're trying to thin the wave. Beautiful. She's overextended. I like you baiting her in. Stun. Nice. Nice dodge. Nice. Okay. Beautiful. So do you kind of see now why I'm like talking a lot about like itemization, things like this, like
Yeah.
as well, how important it is. This is
To,
actually similar to the session as yesterday I had with a guy. It's just there's just not the amount of information that you're processing is so little. And especially for you, you're a Platinum 1 player, Sammy. You got to step up your game, man.
yeah.
And it's not, and like I said, I don't think it's, you don't have the game knowledge. I don't think it's that. I don't think you have the game knowledge. I just think you're just, either you weren't, either it's a mindset thing, or it's a lack of intensity thing, like you were saying before, or it's maybe, yeah, maybe you just hadn't heard of this thing before and you had to hear it from me. I'm not sure. Because I just don't know how you know what decision to make if you're not processing this information. At the end of the
Hmm.
day, the game becomes a coin flip if you're just waiting for the enemy to screw up, or you're not figuring out ways to optimize your decision making because you're not processing the information.
Sure.
Okay, so you're testing the sides. What are we seeing here coming out of base? What do we think now though? We're in a pretty good spot, right?
Yeah.
Pink ward,
I
beautiful
mean,
catalyst. What are we
Catalyst
thinking?
almost level 6. I think I can push the wave and just look to the side. But bot is kind of in a perma freeze if Jin doesn't kind of hit it.
You haven't looked at top at all so far.
That's kind of like mentality with Malphite. It's just like, do I really want to get him ahead?
I love getting Malphite ahead personally. I love it, man. Isn't
Like
that
he's
feel
a
good?
tank at the end of the day. Like he's always gonna be tanky.
Yeah, but it's getting Quinn behind. Quinn behind is useless.
Oh, true, true.
Like yeah, you can get bot ahead, but all I'm saying is that you haven't processed top information. Like, I mean, maybe you're just tunneled and getting bot ahead, but I think it's just useful just to kind of see what quality of trades top's taking. Like, if top's taking good
Yeah.
trades, like. Now you come out of lane, I like how you get vision down first, because you kind of know what side you want to lean to. And I actually like that you don't pink here because the wave's pushing into you, and I don't think you can defend it. So I actually like that you do. Was that on purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Swap to heal. Swap to heal. I think heal's pretty good, but I'm also thinking Ghost. Ghost could be pretty good this game as well because they've got no like lockdown. So like you can always. I just feel like yeah, Ghost could be pretty nice this game. So bot dies. You're panning your camera. I've noticed that you also play on locked camera,
But
and it
yeah.
looks very painful. Like at the end of the day, man, like you got to put in the work to get off this locked camera stuff. Like, and the only way to do it is to go into practice tool, feel uncomfortable for 20 minutes, go into a bunch of normal games, play 2 or 3 normal games. You can even autopilot with music in the background and make it a fun thing. Play whatever. It doesn't matter. It's literally just getting used to it. It only takes a few hours, not even like 3 hours, and you'll be completely fine. You just got to do it. You got to stop. Like, it's just limiting. It just looks so uncomfortable, man. Like you just not. It's very hard. You got to do it, man.
Yeah, I should. Okay.
Okay, so bot dies. Kind of got vision to lean onto. I just want to kind of look at the trading here.
Yeah.
Look how scared you are. He still has no tier. You check the items. Like, you see what I mean here in terms of trading? Like, look how... Like, you can literally just, like, walk up here, continue to auto creeps. If Cassio walks up, you can walk forward, dodge it, or walk back, whatever, to the side, dodge the Q. Even if they hit the Q, you can just hit the gold card and run away, and Q and auto. Like, again, these heavy trades suit you, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't think Cassio should be getting pressure in this lane. Unless your intention is to set up a gank. I don't think she should be reliably getting, like, a lot of pressure anyway.
Okay.
Okay, you got the wave here. Beautiful. Okay, now that your bot died, by the way, do you process this as, like... Do you think about this at all, or...?
Well, whenever like my side lane dies, like I don't. I think when I initially think is like, okay, enemy bot's gonna get pushed, right? If they push it on the turret, and when my bot returns, I have like kind of an opportunity to gank if the enemy bot doesn't reset. That's like kind of my initial thought
Okay.
for when my enemy dies or when my ally dies.
That actually is a good thought. I actually like that because there is a window of opportunity potentially where they're trying to push out the wave before a reset. Is that what you're referring to,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's one really good thing, and then the second one should be thinking about, all right, well then maybe I should look to gank topside,
Okay.
potentially here. Okay, this is a bit of a rough game at the moment. But I still think there's so much gank set up top. Like, this Quinn with Ignite, man, is so squishy. Like, with Malphite, there's so much gank set up.
I mean, throughout the game, I do like kind of realize like I'm focusing on the wrong lane, and I start to focus on top. But I don't know when that is. I forget.
Okay. The thing is, as well, I'm thinking, like, because this Cassio doesn't have Lost Chapter or tier, like, you're just stronger. You just stat check her. And again, you're going to find this out by actually pushing your limits.
Okay.
Like, there's no way she should be just throwing Qs out like this, and it just seems weird.
I actually didn't see that coming during game.
Yeah, it was
The
a bit of a
Wukong.
weird gank. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is the first good trade I've seen you do. So you dodge a Q, you walk up, and just run at them with W. It's so easy. It's so hard for Cassia to hit Q, you know?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, she can W, but like, it's so much mana. So, okay. You know, one thing I want to talk about here. Because this is a little bit, like, I'm only saying this to you because you're high plat and, like, heading into diamond and you've been playing the game for quite a while. Like, I wouldn't really be talking about this for, like, maybe someone who's just reached platinum or low platinum. But you got to think about opportunity cost. What are you sacrificing? What are you missing out on by playing the way you are? This is why I talk about a lot, focusing on the first 15 minutes of a game. Now, you've opted in for this very defensive style where you're like looking to hold the wave on your side. You like if you think about it in terms of like an alternate reality where you're actually pushing, playing a lot heavy trading, maybe even getting push on this Casio, making it so it's really hard for her to push and reset because she has no tier. Just putting a lot of pressure on her, knowing you also have a combat spell, you have heal, that there's no way you're going to die. Now, in an alternate reality, what's that actually going to allow you to do, Sammy? It's going to create more roam opportunity for you. It's going to create more gank setup for your Wukong. It's going to allow, it's going to actually make Casio take increasingly poor bases, prevent her from getting to her lost chapter spike. It's going to just create more opportunities, essentially. Now, when the wave's in this position over here, if your intention isn't to specifically punish a cleanse, you're losing the game. You're losing the game. Because Cassio's going to get to fights first. You've got no river control. You've got no pink in the river. And it's so hard for you to ever get an R off. If you're getting pushed in as Twisted Fate, and you're not setting up a gank, it's incredibly bad. If you don't want to do it, if you don't have to do it, you shouldn't be looking to do it. Okay?
Okay.
Does that kind of make sense? Because like you can't use R. So you're just stuck. And Cassio's just scaling. So this whole time... And notice how she's barely traded onto you. You're not even barely taking any damage. And she's already half mana. If you had traded back with her every single time, like, there's just no way she'd be able to do anything. Let's just say she was half HP and you blew her cleanse there, right? Let's say you just blew her cleanse there with a gold card or whatever. Same thing. She blows cleanse. She's going to have to give a lot more pressure. Rinse, repeat. You get pinks down. You get a lot more roam threat. There's more gank threat. It's just a better overall quality of the game. Because you're playing in this very defensive way, I mean, like you said, you're not really sure what the trading patterns are. Your default response every single time is path backwards. See that? Every single time she walks up, it's path back. It's not step to the side and respond. It's not step forward and respond. Even if she ults you and uses a full combo, I actually doubt she can kill you, in my opinion, because you have heal. You've got a lot of HP with Catalyst. She's going to go incredibly fast. I mean, those sorts of trades are going to be good for you. So she's just getting control. Like, she's actually this is what we call, oh my god, I just remember this is fascinating. So I coached a player, Sammy, from a diamond player to pro player who got imported to the Japanese league in 1 year. Okay? I got a support player who was diamond. Diamond 1, around diamond 1, maybe low master. I got him to a pro level, and then he literally was like so decent that he got imported at the end of that year to Japan in 1 year. And you know what the first thing we had to fix was with him? Was literally what you're doing right now. And we called it, there's two things, we had two names for it. Back clicking and you're getting alphaed. What I call you're getting alphaed right now. Generally, you see this at the higher levels of play because if I'm versing you, Sammy, without sounding rude, like I'm just going to alpha you because you're scared. You play like a bitch. I'm just going to run at you and you're going to run backwards. I'm going to get pressure, control over the lane, and the game's going to be so easy. That's why Smurfs and people, people talk about Smurfs, talk about how can they play unranked to challenge, or how do they win every game. A lot of the time, it's this alpha mentality where they're okay to risk dodging a skill shot because they're so confident in dodging their skill shots. They understand resource management. They understand how hard it is for the enemy to hit a skill shot. They understand the damage output. Because we've, like a lot of higher elo players, they've been testing their limits for so long. They know when not to be scared and when to be scared. I actually think because you've been platinum for so long, Sammy, you just haven't tested your limits. You've got in this very defensive mindset where you do the back click. Now, this is actually probably going to be one of the biggest things we're going to potentially, might even be one of your biggest learning objectives. What I did with this player, his name was Ian. What I did with Ian was I had a, you know how, have you seen, I don't know if you've seen it, but I had this like worksheet. It was like a fundamentals worksheet where it had like all the fundamentals. It was like CSing, trading, warding, jungle tracking, whatever it was. And then under each one, at the end of each game, you had to rank it from 0 to 10. Now, what one of them, the biggest one, what we had for him was back clicking. We actually had this as a fundamental, and he would rate, and we would rate when we looked at the VOD review out of 10, you know, how good or how bad was his back clicking. If he'd been back clicking a lot and playing very defensively for no reason, we'd give it a low rating. Now, maybe for you, one of your things that we can look at this as we get further into this VOD is maybe that's something that you should look into reviewing is how many times are I just back clicking for no reason? And as an AD carry and as a support, it's really, really big because it's all about position in the lane and bot lane because he was a support player. But as a mid laner, it's also quite big because, especially as Twist of Fate, because you're giving position in the lane. So if we think about each of these trades like this, so you use your W, beautiful. Your W's down for a few seconds. You hover top in between. This is nice. You threaten the ult. Quinn backs up. Completely fine. You come back to lane here. You should start autoing the wave. Your W's down a little bit here. You dodge to the side. You have to back up a little bit. Fine. Your W's up again. Nice. Nice trade. If we go back with the back clicking, where did the back clicking start? I think it was here. Yeah, these are the back clicking. And even all the way back here, sorry. I want to try and highlight the perfect example. Okay, backclicking's fine if your cooldowns are down because you can't really trade back. But the backclicking, what I mean by backclicking is when you have your cooldowns up, but you're just choosing to walk away from them. Just because, you know, you're scared to trade or you're not willing to trade. Like that. That's the perfect example of a backclick right there. That one. You see that one, what I meant?
Yeah.
Your cooldowns are up. There's no reason to walk backwards right now. You can walk this way, you can walk that way, you can walk forward, you can walk sidewards, just not back because backwards gives position in the lane. And over time, if you backclick 2 or 3 or 4 specific instances, each time they're getting more position over the lane. So you're just going to get pushed in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Look at that. Look how nice that trade was comparatively. You don't walk back, you walk forward. You just run at them like a Chad dude. You got to alpha up, man. Like, it sounds very small, but over the course of a lane,
Yeah.
and the mindset behind doing that, it's very, very big, man. It's very big. I like that, honestly, how you try to step to the side there, but it's not too bad. You're autoing the wave much more. Beautiful. Trader, look how much nicer this is. Whenever you do that, you've only done that twice, and now Cassio's Right now, you should be hunting her as well. Knowing that she needs to base for tier, you should be hunting
Yeah,
her
I
as
think
well
I do.
right now. Hunt. Unfortunate, she gets the base off. Okay, beautiful. Get the wave in. I just think that Cassio just got so lucky there, in my opinion. Like the whole laning phase, she'd come back with a really bad base. She barely had any pots. She just got a free base essentially. Like she hasn't got her summoners really punished. She's really got out of the early laning phase for free this game, in my opinion. So, I think you're there. You're trying to spot out him on Rift, right?
Yeah, because I saw him top like
Yeah.
30 seconds before or something, and I didn't
Yeah, I
see
think
him.
that's fine. So here, okay, talk me through this. What are we thinking here?
So I started basing like 1400 gold, but I was like, wait, I just need 100 more gold. So I was like,
Yep.
no, I'm not gonna base.
And now what?
Then I asked for help because I know she's gonna try to look for a kill because I'm in kill threat range. And
You think
I,
there's kill threat here?
yeah, I think
Okay.
we can kill her if she goes too far.
GG.
Yeah.
It's actually GG.
Yeah.
That's the GG move. That's the nail in the coffin. Like you had opportunities, your opportunity was done. Like not that bad, but when you make this mistake, it's like it's done. Now, I will still review it, but I just want to talk. This is really bad. Okay. All right, Sammy. Let's break this down. Now, when I'm in this position here, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we know? We know that you have a lot of gold. You have no stacks. We know Cassio has cleanse. We don't even know where Kane's location is. Cassio has both sums, actually has flash and cleanse, and you basically have no damage. Like you have no rower yet. This is the time in the game where I hate getting ganks. I don't want ganks because if you think about it, this is so risky. If you don't get the kill here, Wukong shows on the map, and for no reason. You have to remember that if the jungle shows on the map and fails a gank, it hurts everyone. Hurts everyone in the game. You don't want that to happen at all costs. So, when I'm in this position, I'm like, all right, I'm staying in lane for a little bit longer. That's okay. I'm just going to sit under tower, catch the wave. I don't want to ask for help right now. We can't kill this guy. Like, I don't see the kill threat. He has cleanse and flash. Yes, okay, if he hits you under tower here, then that's when I might ping for assistance. I won't ping for assistance all the way back here because I have no idea how he's going to position. I don't want to waste my jungler's time, to be honest. As soon as he goes here, and the way he leans on that bot side like that, I just ping back.
Gotcha.
There's no play to be made. This is just compensating at this point. This is why I don't like pinging earlier. The play's done. Like, you're not going to get in stun range. Wukong's super far away. You could be running straight into Kane anyway. Like, this is just a really bad play. And then, it's just too forced. So, the way I view it is like, yeah, okay, yes. If they are overextended under your tower, fine. You can go for that play. But I don't want to ping my jungler and ask him to hover me because it's so... What are the chances he actually does that? You're in a higher elo. That shouldn't happen. And more importantly, you just want to get the wave and recall. Like, I would rather my jungle full clear or help another lane. I base, come out of base, so then I have an opportunity to do something with him together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this ties into like the way I make this decision is I just put an emphasis on like I don't want my jungler to show if I don't think this is the case, and the reason I don't see the kill threat is because I know that Cassie has both sums. I'm sitting on 1,400 gold. Gold doesn't mean shit if you don't spend it.
Yeah.
And you haven't spiked. You need your rower. So and this is massive. Yes, you get both. You get both summoners out of the Cassio, but at the end of the day, you use ult and don't get a kill. This is your first ult of the game and don't get a kill. She ends up dying to an Ezreal ult, but you haven't been able to snowball any lane. Malphite had been top the whole time with ult, and we haven't ganked Quinn once. And yeah, now Cassio's got out of the early laning phase and hasn't been punished. You haven't got a single roam off. So now it's so hard. Like, you haven't held bot, they're losing. Top is doing okay, but we haven't punished this Queen either. And now you're just in such a rough spot. Like, you've got your roller, but you're not gonna have. Okay, the only way I see right now is that you got to get another kill on this Cassio potentially. Like, you got to get the pink down. You got to buy a pink. You got to put a pink in the river and punish these Cassio sums. You got to be timing them right now. Time. Nice. TP, good awareness. I like how you're panning your camera while you're dead in base. This is beautiful, by the way. That's exactly what you want to be looking to do. Because you were panning your camera while in base, you weren't just derping, you actually get to see this opportunity. Really nice stuff. Really nice. Beautiful. Double kill. Okay, now you got a win con. You've actually got a win con right there, by the way. You just saved the game. Congratulations, Sammy.
Threw it and then I saved it.
Oh, there, you threw it and then you saved it because your Ezreal's got a double kill. Ezreal's a champion that can carry, and he actually got a 400 gold shutdown. More importantly, that's the big one, the 400 gold shutdown. So you have a win con. Beautiful. So, one thing you didn't do though, you didn't buy a pink, so you come back to lane here. This
I had
guy's
50 gold. I was looking for a pink, but I didn't have enough gold.
Really? You sure?
Yeah. Oh wait,
No
no.
way.
Yeah, you're right. This is.
You
Never
had
mind.
the
Yeah, you're
gold.
right.
So you come back, Still, we don't know this person's itemization. That is something we should be looking at. Like, what is this Casio doing? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this Casio has been playing like this and hasn't been punished when she should have the whole time. And this is what I mean by getting alphaed. Like, this Casio, right? This Casio is actually really bad.
Yeah.
Like, mechanically, this Casio is probably really good. But the way they're playing the game is disgraceful. And you know what? These players get away with it. And this is, you know, when I talk about how you can be diamond level in certain aspects and gold level in other aspects. This guy's the perfect example. He's a platinum. He's a platinum Casio one trick. He's trading and he's micro-wise. He's probably at like a high diamond level. But his jungle awareness, his itemization, game understanding, wave management, everything is terrible. Like, this guy is like, that's why he's platinum. So he's got diamond on one level, and then he's a gold on the other level. So he's setting up platinum. Now, on the flip side, I think you have more of like I think your laning and like your trading as at like a plat level or like, you know, low plat level, but I think your game understanding is probably at a diamond level. So you got to bridge this, like, the gap of your trading and your laning, because otherwise you're just going to get bullied. You're just going to get alphaed by these types of players.
It does seem like I'm always under my turret most games, and like except for like Fizz matchups, or assassin matchups, I feel like an alpha. But like these mage matchups, like I'm always alphaed.
You're always alphaed. I mean, the thing is, it might take time to respect. It might take time to learn the trading patterns. There are some mage matchups where you are going to get bullied. Things like Syndra, Zoe can be a little bit annoying. Things like that. But even then, I try not to get alphaed. What I tried to do in versus a lot of these mage matchups, I just tried to stand outside the wave, continuously auto, and thin the wave with red cards. Thin the wave. And if they walk up, I red card and try to AoE them and slow them. I'm always trying to limit I really try to limit getting pushed in if I don't have to. And if I get pushed in, I'm only doing it because I know there's kill threat. And I've got a pink wall down. You know?
Yeah.
But some matchups you just can't help it, like Syndra and things like that. You kind of just got to get shoved in. But, yeah. So just then, like, this Cassia has no vision, playing like an absolute psycho, no summoners. Like, it's ridiculous. And she's getting away with it, you know? Like, I mean, she died here, but she's got away with it all the way up until you know, she's died twice now to ganks. It's just ridiculous. Cool. So you come back, beautiful. What do you get here? You get Swifties, okay. I actually think this is a pretty good Swifties game.
Yeah.
I like it. You didn't have enough for you could have bought a pink again.
Oh my god.
Come on, Sammy,
Yeah.
mate.
I think it's like I have like 72 or 73 gold, right? And when I'm checking, I don't realize how much gold I have, and I don't see that the red color is kind of brightened, so like I think I can't buy it, and I just like leave.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, that's something you gotta definitely pay a bit more attention to. Beautiful. Come back to lane, get a bit of vision on one side. Unfortunately, there's a ward there. Again, we don't know anything about summoners. And you know what's actually what I've just realized? Oh no.
What?
Oh no. You know what I've realized? You don't even have timestamps on.
What?
Oh no.
What did?
Sammy.
Oh my god. Okay, so you have timestamps on, and then you ping their flash, and then you type it out.
Oh no.
I didn't even. Oh my god.
Sammy, mate. Come on. This is what Ron had as well. Ron had the exact same problem. The first thing I saw when I reviewed Ron's gameplay, he didn't have timestamps. It's so important. Like, this is probably why you don't time summoners, because you don't know how to. You don't know when they flashed.
I kind of when I'm the games where I'm like super try hard, I time them, but like they're always like estimation.
Oh no. So yeah, you really need to what you do is if they use flash, you ping it, and while you're in base, you can just time it because you can look back in the chat. You press Z and look at it.
Yeah.
You know? It's so big, man. All right, so yeah, it's good that we've established that there's vision things. I mean, sorry, the ward timing things. So that's flash timing. Sorry, that's really, really, really big. Really, really big. So, like, from what I've seen so far, Sammy, it's just all these small things. I mean, that's holding you back. It really is. Like, you've got the pink warding, the lack of timing summoners, the mindset. And so the mindset, I think, again, the biggest one is the mindset. Like, I don't think micro is your problem as well. I think micro-wise, you don't seem that awkward. Like, it seems like your character control is, like, fine. Nice. This is what I want to... Look at that, man. Notice how much better that is?
Yeah. I mean, I only do that because like I have my turret with me.
But, like, even if... Like, there was so many times where she was in this position, you could have done a very similar thing. You know? Like, yeah, she took
Yeah.
it... She was very close to the tower, but you still could do that every single time. Because she can't just blow cleanse. She can't just use cleanse off cooldown. She's not going to use cleanse for a
Yeah.
random trade, right?
Yeah.
And one thing as well, what you want to be ideally looking to do is one thing I love to do is like just keep autoing, keep autoing, keep autoing. Every single time I have my E passive up, I'll walk up, threaten with a card, a gold card or red card, throw it, and then run back. So I get the E proc and I get the damage, and then I get with the slow to stop them from chasing me or the stun, and then I can just get a really nice trade. Okay. I like it. I like it. Yo. So this could have been done like 3 times. Like, you've done this now at 13 minutes 30, but this could have been done like 3 times already, you know?
Got you.
But, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, ideally we would have played to bot side, but they just died to a gank again. So, yeah. Because, okay, so the way I see this VOD, man, is like, okay, this was one of those tough games where you kind of had 2 losing sides. But one thing you got to keep in mind, Sammy, is that the game the game's actually rough because Wukong's wasted a lot of time mid and hasn't got anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you think about it, the way ganks actually work as a jungler, you never really want to gank a lane and kill someone if it doesn't change the way the lane plays out. Now, the bad thing what's happened in this game is Wukong's ganked your lane, got kills, he's got the kills, but it hasn't changed. Cassie's still getting pressure on you. Right? So the kills don't do anything. I mean, the kills aren't doing anything for the map. So the way I view it is, if you're not, and because you've traded kills and you've thrown the lead, what would have happened otherwise? Maybe Wukong could have used that time, or the resources to affect other lanes. That's why the game, and you know, when people talk about, oh, you know, I get fed, but my lane always lose and things like that. Well, if you're getting the ganks and you're not doing anything with it, then there's no point. Obviously, your sides are going to lose because they're getting ganked. Your bot lane's been ganked like 3 or 4 times by Kayn. Wukong hasn't done a single gank top lane as well. There's a reason for that. Wukong's ganked your lane like, what, 4 times?
Yeah.
And you've got 2 kills. You've also died to being double killed. And it hasn't led to anything. You've only just now got a single ultimate off at 13 minutes 30. So, what I'm trying to get across, Sammy, is that the way this game is panned out, it's like, yes, this specific game may have been hard to look at, but you got to always assess the opportunity cost. What else could have happened this game if these things went better in the early game? Like, the game could be completely different. Maybe Wukong would have ganked top, snowballed Malphite. Maybe Malphite with that pressure would get deep wards on top side, which spot out Kayn, which allows bot lane to play more safe. Maybe Wukong ganks bot, allows bot to actually, or gives them vision so they can actually win 2v2. You don't know what would happen in this game, you know? Or maybe you would have a lot more pressure in this lane, and then that would have created a gank opportunity bot, and you could have countered a bot gank or something like that. You don't know. That's why I love focusing on the first 15 minutes, because, like, yes, I can look at the game from here, and yes, theoretically the game is winnable, and there's ways we can optimize our decision making from this point onwards to, you know, increase the chances of winning. Like, playing from behind, like people always say in the comments, like, I want to know how to play from behind and things like that. But it's like, the game is just so different if you don't put yourself in that position, you know? And I think the mindset behind playing from behind, I like this, by the way. Using your demolisher, getting some plates. I like it. But you see what I mean, though, with the first 15 minutes thing as well?
Mm-hmm.
Like, with how the jungle affects everything and how you're positioning and everything. It all kind of snowballs, ties together.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Bot lane's lost the tower. So now you're going to have to tell your AD carry and support to go mid. Beautiful. Okay. So we'll touch on this section of the game just a little bit here. But what do we know? What is one of the biggest advantages of TF into Cassio? Is that you have ultimate, you can get to fights, Cassio doesn't have TP, you can create man advantage fights. So right now, in these positions when you're playing Twisted Fate and mid game, it's all about abusing your ult cooldown. Don't feel the need to rush. Don't feel the need to get things done. Wait. What I'll literally do, I literally ping my ults, and I'll literally tell my team, wait on my R. I'll literally tell my team what I'm looking to do, because that's how you're gonna win this game. You're gonna make a pick. You're gonna find a way to abuse this ult advantage. And more importantly, you should be assessing items. How many mercs do they have? Do they have cleansers? Do they have QSSs? Do they have stopwatches? These are all the things you should be thinking about right now.
Yeah.
And there's no need to group right now, in my opinion. You just get the wave from the side. And actually, what I would do, assist me ping here. Because junglers at this point in time, they actually listen. You assist me ping, say hover. I'll literally type it out, hover me. And then I assist me ping in the river here. And then I get the wave out. And then in between the waves, I'll walk up. Maybe I'll get a reset for my Sheen, whatever it is. But I won't group like this mindlessly. Like, what is this trying to achieve? Like, yeah, you can maybe look for a pick here, but at the end of the day, I just want to get these waves out. I want to get to my Lich Bane. I want to play off my ult cooldown. Like, and I don't want to go for a kill on this Cassio. She has cleanse. Like, there's no kill threat. Like, I want to play off my ult. So there's Kayn. Beautiful. Okay, this is fine. Trade sides of the map. I feel like you just... Okay. Holy moly. Okay. Nice. Nice. That's pretty good. I like it. Oh. Stun. Dude, this Wukong's popping. Nice. Okay. Get the wave. Recall. Oh, he's so close to Lich Bane. Get your ghost. I like it. Then you can bot. Okay, so, and like I said, I mean, to be honest, this is why I don't like looking at mid. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? There's little things you can do to optimize it, but I really don't think this looks like to be a problem. I mean, what do you think? Are you confused in mid game? Like, what do you?
I mean, with TF, like the mid game is quite obvious.
Yeah.
But like other champs, it's not obvious. I think that's just like an experience thing. But one thing I do notice is like when it gets to late game, it's kind of coin flippy. It's like one fight and you just lose the game.
That is generally. Yeah, that's why I don't like the game going to late game. That's why I like to make my team get so far ahead that, you know, it's game over. So it looks like you know what to do. I mean, like, do you want to go over any more of this, or do you want to kind of recap?
I feel like it's like we lose this game, right? But like it's still winnable at this point. And like I kind of don't know how to translate, like even if I like kind of lost one, like it's kind of even lane, I don't know how to transition from like a kind of even state or a losing state to like a winning state.
Well, the problem is this game, it's actually really hard for you because yes, you're strong, but Jin has QSS. Okay, let's actually talk a little bit about identifying win conditions then, right? Let's talk, and this again will come with experience, but let's talk a little bit about that and transitioning leads. So mid game is all about identifying the strengths of your composition. Okay, so what do we know? You guys have a really good team fight. Malphite, Wukong, Senna. Like, you got stun, fronto. Like, as soon as this guy gets to Muramana, if you think about people's spikes, so actually bringing it back even simpler. First thing I think about, like I said here, I look at the team comp. What is our team actually, what can we do? We can team fight incredibly well. Then I like to look at spikes. Who's strong, who's weak? Well, Malphite's actually reasonably strong. Wukong's actually pretty strong. You've hit your 2-item spike. Ezreal's getting strong. Once this Muramana is finished, then Ezreal's actually going to be quite strong as well. And I actually think actually, to be honest, I actually think this game's very winnable. Like, this is a very winnable game because Cassio is going to struggle against all of this dive threat, a very immobile champion. Ezreal does very well into Kayn, Quinn, and Jhin. Senna scales incredibly well. And you can always create man advantage. So what I would be looking to do this game, so identifying that we have a good team, we have a good team fight. This guy has QSS. This guy has cleanse. All I'm thinking is, I would say we're playing around ultimates. That's all I'm thinking about. We need to play around Malphite ult. Malphite ult is your biggest strength this entire game. So if I'm in mid game, I always try to think about, what sort of fights look favorable. If you think about it, any extended fight versus Cassio and Kayn, like, you're probably going to lose. Yeah. Wukong, ultimate focused. Malphite, ultimate focused. You're very ultimate focused. The only champions that aren't is basically just Ezreal, to be honest. Now, what this says to me is, okay, I can't afford to... I need to be there with my team when Malphite has ult, so I would be pinging my ult, be telling my team my ult, I'd be saying Malphite ult, and I would actually say we win team fights. You guys genuinely win team fights, but you don't need to force it. I would try and maybe wait for an objective. So they can't get rift anyway, so it's completely fine. Ideally, I still would want to complement the strength of my champion, which is look for to create a man advantage. But right now, I would actually probably just... You should be topped. Wait, does Malphite have TP? Whoops, what the hell did I just do? Does Malphite have TP? No, he doesn't. So neither of you have TP. Okay, so you gotta be a little careful here because they can do Baron quite quickly with Cassio. Well, Cassio's bot now anyway, so you should be fine. And I feel like you guys can actually defend it. I would still stay bot here, to be honest. I would stay bot and I would ping my ultimate. They can't do Baron under you. Think about it. They can't do Baron under Wukong, Malphite as Senna. Like, they're not going to do it. So I would probably just relax, tell everyone to back. I would have pinged back this whole time. Back. Play off my ult. Keep pinging my ult. Wait for someone to show bot, because neither Quinn has TP nor Cassio. Then look to force a fight on my R. I mean, grouping here is not too bad because everyone does have R. But you're just not here, man. Like, you're so far away. Malphite's never had to use ults. To be honest, I actually think I should do an entire video on pinging. Because it is so important. Like, pinging is how you win mid-game. It's how you transition leads, essentially. So, because like I said this whole time, if you're aware coming out of base here that we're ultimate focused, we need to play those team fights, you need to wait for me and my R. If you thought that they would potentially rush it, which I just don't think that's the case, then you would just have to come straight down mid and group. Now, if you felt like your ult was maybe too far away, then you just group as well, because a fight most likely is going to break out. So it's a bit of a fine line on your read on the game, but that's where pings come into play. As soon as you see your team posturing around Baron, looking for a fight when you're bot with no ult, you need to spam the hell out of back, and keep pinging my R cooldown. Back, wait me. That's all I'm saying. Wait me. You need to take responsibility if you really want to carry games. Now, an interesting thing I want you to think about as well. There was like this pro player King, and he was the best solo queue player. Like, such a good solo queue player. He's got like, Challenger in Korea. He's got like Challenger on like every server. Really, really good. Now, why he was so good is that he wasn't afraid to call and tell the team what to do. So let's just say he was an AD carry player. And what he would do is say, he would identify coming out of base. We win team fights, just group. Especially when you have a Malphite, just group. He would tell Malphite, everyone come mid, 5 mid. He would say 5 mid, everyone 5 mid. And then he would tell everyone to come mid. Your job, and it will be refined over time, is just to identify and what you think is the best win condition. Now, when you press tab out of interest, what do you see here in terms of the win con? What things do you look at? What do you see here?
When I press tab at in this late in the game, I'm not really identifying win cons. Like I never think about win con. It's just
Hmm.
kind of sad. Um, when I press tab, I usually look for the quicksilvers and stuff like that, the stopwatches. Um, and like kind of my team summoners. Like I never think about, okay, what
Hmm.
do I have to do to win this game?
Okay. That's fascinating, man. So,
Yeah.
so then what happens in mid game? You just wait. You just kind of play opportunistically.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, man. So, I mean, because like, you know why actually one of the other reasons I don't cover mid game a lot is because like maybe I have this inbuilt expectation that everyone is always thinking, how can I win this game? Like like in my mind, like what else would you be thinking about? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point, like I always no one thing I always do think about is like kind of objective control and like what's the
Mm,
next
mm.
biggest objective and like how can we control it? But like that's as far as it goes with me trying to think about how we can win the game.
That's fascinating, man. Interesting. I actually have a whole video on identifying win conditions. Um, did you watch that one or not?
I think I watched a little bit of it, but I didn't
It's
finish it.
it's very in depth, yeah. It's very intense. I mean, I do cover a lot of that, and specifically what I look for and why I look for it. But maybe I do need to make a video on identifying win conditions in mid game, like because this is massive. Like, but I just don't know the way I see it. Though is like I don't know how to cover every single situation. You know, like I don't know
Yeah.
how because it's different every game, and it does come
Yeah.
with experience. Because the way I see it though is that the way I see it, Sammy, is that if you're in the mindset where it's like, I'm going to use all my brain power to think about how we win this game, you improve at it incredibly fast, right? Like, you improve at it incredibly fast. I think the problem is here is like, not that you don't know it, it's that you don't engage in that level of thought and that, so you're not never going to improve at it because
Yeah.
it's just not thought about. So, maybe potentially this is something we could look at as a potential learning objective. Is as soon as you get into mid game like this, think about well, what are this? You know, what does a good fight for our comp look like? At a very simple level, do we want? Are we ultimate based? Or are we not? Do you have champions like Cassio, or do you have champions like Malphite? Do you have Wukong, or do you have Kane? Do you have, you know, what sort of AD carry do you have? What sort of support do you have? I would say Alistair's actually pretty ultimate focus. What's another Bard? Bard's very pretty ultimate focus as well. Do you have a Evelyn? Evelyn is very ultimate focus. These sorts of champions. Do we need our ultimate to fight? Now on the flip side, maybe you have a like a maybe you have a Darius. I don't think. I mean, Darius is quite ultimate focus, but Darius can still operate somewhat decently in a fight. What's another? What's a non-ultimate focus top laner right now?
Um,
Well, Quinn. I mean, Quinn. Like, Quinn's definitely one. I'm trying to think about what champions are in the game. But anyway, have a theory. And like I don't expect you to be correct every single game. If you come into it and you're like, you know what? I actually think we're really ultimate focused. We can't play if we can't win this fight if we don't have ultimate. You know, that's how I decide a lot of the time objectives to trade. That's a lot of the time how I figure it out. Because I think of, well, we don't have any ultimates. We have a Nocturne, he has no ult, Malphite has no ult, whatever. How are we going to win this fight?
yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about it. Ultimate's a huge one. And then I think about, you know, how do we want to fight? Who are we going to fight around? In this game, yes, you can actually split push. But if you split push, Malphite's going to be left on an island. Malphite needs to team fight. Wukong needs to team fight. I think it's going to be really hard for you to win if you kind of split. That's why like splitting is very unreliable in solo queue as well because team fighting is just the easiest way. Now, I actually think this game, if you didn't feel like your team would be able to respect this Rift Herald and your read on the game was that they're playing very aggressively or whatever it is, then maybe you just group. maybe grouping's the best choice here. But if you feel like they wouldn't and they were listening to your pings, then I would wait for my ultimate, create a man advantage, and then look to force a team fight with Malphite, essentially.
Yeah, that's kind of my like. I was thinking about like, okay, mid turret's up, right?
Hmm.
And I have this side, and I see Cass come towards me. And so like the first thing I'm thinking about is like, okay, I can create a man advantage.
Hmm.
But then this fight starts happening, and then I start walking over.
Okay. So I don't want to really go any further than this because
Yeah,
I think that your mid game overall will just improve over time as long as you're asking yourself the question, having a hypothesis. You know,
okay.
what do you think the win con is? That's all you got to ask yourself. What is the win con coming out of base? With this, what you see here, what is the win condition? And
Okay.
the only way to improve at it is like ask yourself, test it, go for it, and then if it doesn't work, you can ask yourself, why didn't that work? What didn't I consider? And be like, oh, okay, we didn't have ultimates, or this guy didn't have flash, or I didn't take into account QSS, or I didn't take into account whatever it was, you know? Or maybe we don't win fights front to back, and we need to create man advantage fights, you know? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So this was a bit of an interesting session, Sammy, because there's a lot of little things, unfortunately. Like, there's a lot of little things. And, you know, when I actually did this coaching, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this coaching thing, especially for people that were stuck, is because I am like you. I think that it's mainly a mindset thing. Believe it or not. I genuinely think people who were stuck in the same rank for 3-4 seasons, a lot of their problems stem from either their approach to the game, their mindset when playing the game, or overall intensity, and they're not aware of how the little things that they're doing influences the outcome of a game.
Yeah.
Do you resonate with that? Does that
Yeah,
resonate
that's
with
what I
you?
feel like what my problem is.
Hmm. So what I want to do in terms of moving forward, I think is step one is we need to shift your mindset from this defensive mindset to testing limits, pushing limits, and being more like literally in your mind. It should be, how am I going to create an advantage this game in my lane? If you can't create an advantage in your lane, then what's next? Then you can look to figure out, okay, how can I alter side? Okay, so I think that flash timers, because what were the key pieces of information when coming out of base? You didn't assess itemization. You didn't assess pink wards to set up ganks. You didn't assess summoners. This all ties back to that mindset of, how can I get a lead? How can we kill my opponent? Now, if the guy is itemized properly, wins 1v1, and has both summoners, then you probably can't kill, right? But that's completely fine because you've actually gone through those steps. You've actually thought to yourself, there's actually no kill threat here. My jungler's a farm jungler. My jungler needs to farm, or my jungler's behind. I've got maybe one of my other sides is winning really hard, and I don't really need to gank mid. Or this person got an early mercs. It's really hard to kill. It's fine. If you have to give pressure, you have to give pressure, and then you can adapt. But it feels like right now, because you're not in this like mindset, like you're in a very defensive mindset where you just like maybe playing for the team too much or whatever it is. You're not considering any variables. You're not considering, how can I pink to generate threat? How can what items are they taking? How can I take good trades again? Do they have pots? Do they build MR? What do they build? Did they use flash? Did they use cleanse? If they use flash and cleanse, then I need to time that and punish that, because that's massive. Because I've got a point and click stun. How can they walk up in this lane as an immobile mage with no cleanse? Like that, I actually get angry when that happens. You know, like I take it personally. I'm like, screw this guy, man. What the hell does he think he's doing? I've got a point and click stun, and you're under my tower. What are you doing, man? Like, it's like I hate it, especially when I'm versing a scaling mid laner who gets pressure on me. If Victor's pushing me in, playing like an idiot, or Cassio, or any of these champions, I want to punish. I'm spam pinging mid. I've got pinks out. I'm timing the summoners. Come mid, free kill. I'm going crazy, you know. But it seems like you're not. There's no emotional. There's nothing there. Or am I interpreting this wrong?
Um, I
What do you
I
think? I
feel
mean,
like
what do you think?
I always like my goal in lane, like it's okay, yeah. I do want to win lane, right? But like I
Mm-mm.
also like don't want to lose lane.
Right.
And I think that fear of just like losing
Fear of
lane.
losing. So what do you mean by fear of losing? Fear of getting solo killed? Fear of what?
Yeah, mainly solo killed, but like just like coming out of lane like better scaled or like being kind of like a burden to my team. Like I don't want to be a burden to my team.
Is it because you've been flamed in the past or something? Like,
I mean, yeah, it's like I played Orianna, right? And like
yeah,
and I just want to like farm and scale. Like
yeah.
I come out of early laning phase, then they're like, "Bro, you had no impact. Bro,
Mm,
what are you doing?"
mm,
So like I'm always scared to like
right.
try to force things in lane.
Okay. Well, man, we got to shift that, man. Because I think this is the core. This is why you're hard stuck plat.
Yeah,
Well, because you're not going to improve, man.
yeah.
Because if you think about it logically, you've been platinum for 3 seasons, so you haven't improved. Or
Yeah.
4 seasons. What, 3 or 4 seasons? Like, you literally haven't improved. Like, maybe you've improved little bits, but at the end of the day, your rank doesn't show the progress.
Yeah.
And you've got 900 games, dude.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of games.
You know what's
So,
crazy? The seasons before this I was platinum, but like I never had the level of like um macro kind of decisions I have now. Like I just
mm,
played Yasuo and I just went into lane thinking I can just solo. Like I had the alphaness, but like I didn't have like
the
the
macro.
calculated alphaness.
Yeah, because I actually don't think mechanics is your problem. Mechanics is fine, and even your game understanding's fine. Because I could sit here and I can tell by your tone of voice. You're like, Curtis, I know this shit. Like, I know it. You know, it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
Like, you know it. You've played the game for long enough. You've seen it. You know the stuff I'm telling you. You've watched my videos, right? Like, you
Yeah, I
know this
watched every
stuff.
single one of them.
So that's the thing. You just got to execute, man. You have all the knowledge. You just got to grow the balls to do it.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm fascinated. This is why I wanted to do this coaching, Sammy, because I wanted to get to know people. What are some of the problems? What are some of the things holding you back? And at the end of the day, yes, you're gonna enter a few games. Yes, you get whatever. You get flamed. You get flamed. Who cares? Like, ignore them, mute them, do what you think, and learn.
Hmm.
You got to get out of this defensive mindset, man. Otherwise, you are going to be here for the next few seasons. You're not going to get out. You're going to
Yeah.
be stuck. So, like I said, you gotta shift this mindset to how can I, you know, how can I get elite? And, and
Hmm.
and you'll find in some matchups you won't be able to get elite 1v1. That's where you start to think about the junglers. Does my jungler have kill threat? How can I generate threat by pink wards? Okay, cool. I can't kill my laner. My jungler has no threat. All right, beautiful. I'm gonna minimize. Play to what's the next thing? Sammy, the next thing is that's when you think about TP versus cleanse. Oh, okay. That's a perfect way to create a roam opportunity. Because I can't do anything
Yeah.
1v1. Cool, I can't do anything 1v1. I'm going to look for a roam on the side lane. So the really awkward thing about your whole laning phase is that not only are you playing, it's like you're not fully committing to playing aggressive. It's like you're being reactive to Cassio's aggression in a way, right? It's like Cassio was aggressive and you just responded. Like,
Yeah.
she just overextended. She's playing an idiot, like an idiot. Now, the bad thing about your style, Psyker, Sammy, is that you're not all in on creating opportunities to side lanes, but you're not all in and abusing your TP advantage, but you're not all in on aggressive. So you're doing this 50-50 thing and playing like super reactive, which just like, it's so coin flippy. Like the way
Yeah.
you play, it's just coin flip. It's just like, all right, if they play aggressive, I'll get pushed in, and then I'll just adapt. Or if they don't, I get push it. I get them to push it. I actually get pushed on them. Then cool, I get roams. It's like very reactive in that sense. So you see where I'm coming from? It's always like, okay, can I kill? lane or find a way to kill my lane? Do they have, like, can I find a way to punish them? Yes or no? All right, no. Next, how can I use my utility and my wave clear and my TP to get tempo some way so I can actually get a roam play off? Okay, because that's going to allow me to do something. Tick, can I do that? Yes or no? Because maybe they have TP as well. So then it goes back. All right, well, if I can't find a way to recall, I can't find a way to win 1v1, then I need to think, all right, maybe I need to play off a certain spike. Maybe I just need to farm to Roa, then I can do something. Maybe I need Catalyst, then I can do something. If that's not the case, then probably if none of these are the case, then you need to go back to square one and think about, all right, maybe if they have TP, maybe we could find a way to generate threat. Maybe my warding wasn't good. Maybe my positioning in the lane wasn't good. Maybe I wasn't trading well. I don't know. So, because I feel like if I were to watch your gameplay, Sammy, every single game, there'd be a different problem every game. That's how I feel watching you right now. Like, I don't think talking about specifics with you is the problem. Because I know the next game I watch, you might actually get pressure, and then it would be another problem. But the point is, what I'm trying to get across is that I don't think it's specifics and your micro and all this type of stuff. It's your approach. Your approach is all off. And I can sit here talking to you for hours saying, don't do this, trade like this, do this, do this. But at the end of the day, as soon as you go into that game, you're not gonna change. You're not gonna change any of your behavior until you actually change your mindset.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Do you actually agree, or
Yeah,
you just?
I agree. I agree.
Because I don't want you to say something to say that you agree just for the sake of agreeing. Like, I want you to tell me if you disagree, you disagree, and that's fine.
Yeah, no, I
And this is
agree.
only my opinion.
I agree fully. I think it is a mental problem, or like kind of like a mental block.
Are you willing to take the steps to change?
Yeah.
Are you gonna take the steps to change?
Yeah. First thing I'm doing is putting those timestamps on, and
Nice.
I'm I'm gonna
The first thing you do,
time
and
time those flashes.
time the flashes, assess summoners, assess itemization, put pink wards in a position, because you know what, that actually makes so much sense now. You know what's fascinating now, like that I've kind of, by the end of the session, I've kind of realized a few things. This pink ward location makes so much sense now. You know why? It's because this pink ward is just pure defensive. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, if you, like, I was always thinking to myself, I'm like, wait, I would never do this pink ward in a million years. And I'm like, that's because I value generating threat, but you don't value generating threat on Cassio. You're not even thinking about finding a way to kill this Cassio. You're not even
Yeah.
thinking about a way to punish this cleanses. That's why. So the behavior, that's what I'm saying, the behavior and the decisions in the game stem from what you're valuing, what information you're processing, what are you actually thinking about. And that's what I've realized slowly during this session is, okay, you know, you're definitely not thinking about this, and your priorities aren't straight. So moving forward, I want you to keep me updated, right? Keep me updated. I actually want you to refer to this VOD that I've recorded a lot, because I think there's so much
Okay.
information there. You can go over and look at so many elements of it.
hmm
I think step number one, in terms of the specific I want you to improve on, the two specifics, sorry, are pink ward usage and just buying pinks. And the second one is actually timing summoners. Those two things specifically, if you can do those, they are incredibly big. In terms of the main thing, in terms of the other thing that you should focus on is the mindset shift. At the end of the day, man, you just can't afford to be a bitch. You gotta man up. You gotta grow some
Gotcha.
balls. You gotta test your limits.
Yeah.
You gotta learn your matchups. You're not gonna learn your matchups if you're just gonna okay to get pushed in all the time. Can you trade? What's this trading pattern like? Yes, it doesn't mean play like a psycho every game. You gotta play around your cooldowns. It's the same. It's the same fundamentals. Play around the enemy cooldowns, playing around your cooldowns, playing around mana costs. CSing, you still got to value CS. Is about refining that. It's refining that and the mindset behind that. Because if you're not sure, and like you said, your read on this matchup was very like, Cassio, I'm just super scared. It's a hard counter. Like, I don't believe it's a hard counter because, like I said, she goes she can't punish me enough.
Gotcha.
But you're not going to figure that out. So, are we kind of clear on a direction?
Yes.
Cool. So, I want you to keep me updated. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions about this VOD when it goes up or any other little clarification things, or my opinion on matchups, you can use me in the Discord as well. Um, but go for it, man. Have a crack. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
And we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. And you know what will happen? I actually think maybe in the short term you actually might lose more, right? You actually might lose a little bit more because it's going to be so uncomfortable for you. But then I reckon after losing a bit, a week or two of losing, you're going to go all the way back up because you're going to feel so much more confident. You're like, I know exactly how to navigate this matchup. I know exactly what to do. You're going to find yourself getting in way more situations that you can use your ult. You're going to find yourself getting way more situations to generate kills. You're going to find yourself taking better trades. You're going to find yourself getting better bases. You're going to find your mid game then turning into you're going to have better situations in mid game. All of these things, all right?
Do you recommend doing this on my main or my Smurf?
What's your Smurf at?
I think it was like gold 1. You can check
Probably
actually.
it's
FTTF.
FTTF. Yeah, I mean,
Gold 3.
you can definitely do it on your Smurf if you want to,
Okay.
yeah. And then once you get a little bit more comfortable, then go ham. It's up to you, man. Honestly,
Okay.
probably do it on your Smurf for the first little bit, maybe. Like, it's up to you.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks for the session, and hopefully it was useful. And yeah, keep me updated, all
Yeah.
right?
Thank you. It was so useful.
Catch you later,
All right.
Sammy.
Catch you later.
Bye.